No system, no harem, no invincibility, not Shuangwen, science fiction, suspense, action. In 2062, Su Ling received bad news about his brother who was far away in Qinglucheng. I thought it was an accident, but as he stepped into this chaotic city of Qinglu, a series of conspiracies that had been planned for a long time appeared before his eyes, and he would also peel off his cocoons under the shadow of Qinglu. In the end, was he another adventurer who collapsed in the sewer, or did he inherit his brother's last wish to become a big shot in this city? Chapter 0. Preface. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Midnight is always quiet, except for the occasional barking of dogs and the occasional shouting of drunken men. It seems that all the hidden conspiracies that have occurred can appear normal at this time, but in a dilapidated and open construction site, a man's hands were cut off flat from his forearms, and blood flowed along with the wound, dripping onto the ground. He knelt on both feet and gazed at the arms that belonged to him a few minutes ago, feeling eerily that they were not part of him. At this moment, it seemed as if he had also forgotten the pain, but suddenly felt desolate. The confusion of soil and blood in front of him may be due to excessive blood loss, and he actually felt that this was a bright red oil painting. Su Ling. Come on. I'll play a game with you. I have an old world object in my hand, and they call it poker. You choose one of them, and if your points are smaller than mine, I'll kill you. If your points are larger than mine, I'll kill that woman. Ha ha ha. The man took out a deck of poker, and his laughter was abnormal and ferocious. At this moment, the empty construction site kept echoing his laughter, like a noisy funeral song. Oh. Oh. Yes. I forgot, you don't have any hands. Ha ha ha. How about I draw with you? I'm fair. The man spoke while playing the playing cards in front of him unfailingly. He first drew a picture for himself. Plum Blossom 6. Then he took the place of Su Ling and drew a card. Block 9. Oh, what did I say earlier? Do you want to be big or small to win? I forgot, there's a rule, if you draw 9 blocks, you'll all die. Ha ha ha. The man paced back and forth in front of Su Ling, sometimes dancing and sometimes laughing. At this moment, Su Ling's eyes had gradually blurred, and his life seemed to rewind as he looked back on the first half of his life. He struggled to think, when did it start to develop to this point? Since he destroyed the gang's stronghold. Starting from when the metabody awakens and is able to retrieve objects from space. Or did he start from the moment he first stepped into this city? Oh, by the way, none of them are. It was from the day he received the BIPD sent to his home and the news of his brother's death that he started. Today's situation seems to have been predetermined, but he still has a lot to do. But what? Now his brain is like a paste. He always finds it difficult to remember all the plans, but the only thing he knows is that there is a woman not far from him who he has been guarding from the beginning, and today he probably won't escape fate. He looked at the unconscious woman lying on the ground, feeling sorry for her. Apart from constantly fighting and carrying out tasks, he didn't seem to have seriously invited her to a serious dinner. If he hadn't come to this city to uncover the truth about his brother's death that day, wouldn't everyone have been living well? The lunatic in front of me is probably still that normal person. Su Ling's mind was spinning wildly until he lost too much blood, and his consciousness could no longer support every brain cell that could still beat, before finally losing consciousness. Su Ling looked up at the sky, which did not seem gloomy or hazy for his experience today. Instead, it remained as clear and cloudless as ever. After more than 100 years of global nuclear explosions, it is rare to see such a clear sky. No, if I could start over again, I guess I would still choose to come back to this city. Qinglu City, this chaotic city, has never been wrong. Here, everyone is an ant, and everyone doesn't want to be an ant. In the end, it all ends up like an ant. Chapter 1. The Ritual Song of Qinglu City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Attention all passengers, the next stop is the terminal station of this train. QingLucheng. Passengers getting off the train, please bring your personal belongings to avoid losing them. As the train stopped at the station, Su Ling Sixu was suddenly pulled back to reality by the hurried pedestrians. He slowly stretched lazily and followed the crowd off with his large backpack of luggage. The neon lights, mechanical security suspended passenger cars, and the rusty homeless man sitting there were Su Ling's first impressions of this city. Qinglu City, as one of the 64 joint cities, is definitely not the wealthiest or most chaotic, but it is definitely the city that adventurers are most willing to come to. Because compared to other allied cities, this city has both order, chaebols, and rebels. Several forces are balancing each other. So no matter what purpose you come here for, there will always be a place for you. Hi. I'm calling you. New face. As Su Ling got off the car and looked around in an unknown direction, a voice nearby stopped him. Su Ling turned around and saw a hunchbacked middle-aged man gesturing for him to go over. Do you call me? That's right. Young man, I see you don't have any travel records in Qinglu City. This is your first time here, right? Do you need a guide? The hunchbacked man looked at the young man with a smile, who was half a head taller than him. What's going on? Is there no privacy in this city? I was immediately targeted by you as soon as I arrived. No, don't misunderstand. I am just a taxi driver, and everyone who comes here will record the number of times they have entered Qinglu City. This also makes it convenient for us enthusiastic locals to be your tour guide, isn't it? The man rubbed his hands and looked at Su Ling with anticipation, as if he could squeeze some money from him anytime, anywhere. Indeed, Su Ling is a newcomer and it may not be easy to quickly understand this city without any guidance. And going to a new place and doing things like slaughtering fat sheep is the same in any city. Su Ling looked at the man's urgent gaze, probably because he hasn't lived for a long time. He also knew that when he walked out of this station, even if it wasn't this person who wanted his money, there would be others. Lead the way, where is your car? Su Ling didn't think much and gestured for the man to lead the way. All right. Thank you. Don't worry. I will definitely make you feel at home. Where do you want to go? Travel. Work. Go to the new or old city area. No, I'm going to the intersection of the new and old urban areas. After listening for a moment, the man suddenly seemed to understand again. He didn't speak, just smiled and looked at Su Ling in front of him, then invited him to get into the car. As the car slowly moved forward from the station, Su Ling suddenly spoke up and broke the silence. Why, what about your enthusiasm before getting on the bus? Did you become mute when getting on the bus? The driver said while driving, I know what you're here for. I understand your rules, so I won't ask anything that shouldn't be asked. Watching this driver be so knowledgeable, he has slightly improved his view of this city. Before he came, he thought that Qinglu City was all lawless barbarians. Can you tell me about the situation in this city? After all, you know, this is my first time here, right? So what do you want to know? This city is very exciting. What are the tycoons, gangs, and big shots in this city? Ha! If you don't know anything about this city, you dare to go to the border. You're quite brave. You know, in your situation, you might be thrown into the sewer in less than a week. When Su Ling heard that he seemed to have no understanding of this city, the driver suddenly relaxed and returned to the state he had just met. Okay, I'll make a bet with you that I won't be thrown into the sewer within a week, and next time I leave this city, you can watch me leave safely. How about that? Okay. I'm not at a loss. Just keep looking for me when you need to call me next time. This kind of big talk may have been heard by many drivers. Everyone who comes here wants to become a big shot, but how many people can truly succeed? As an enthusiastic guide, let me tell you the precautions to take in this city. First of all, when you see people from gangs here, as long as you are not involved in their interests or do not meddle in their affairs, they generally do not take the initiative to seek your trouble. Because gangs are only considered lower-class people here. What are lower-class people? In our Qinglu urban area, the status is very simple. Those living in the new urban areas of St. Martin and Pearl Harbor are the upper class, while those living in the old urban areas of Shihe and Dongzhen are the lower class. Both sides are not very easy to deal with. So the gangs are all from the old city, and who are the rulers of the new city? Of course it's the famous St. Martin group in the district of St. Martin. They built the entire new area, and their night security company is their private army. And the BIPD police officers are also their lackeys. You have to walk around them. So, the local tyrants of this city are these tycoons. That's not true. There is also a very powerful force in this city. They are people that BIPD and gangs dare not control even when they see them. May I hear its details? Rope organization, they are the leaders of our old city area. Our old city area can still maintain independence and has not been pulled to grow cotton by the people of the new city area. It's all their credit. Are they a gang or a company? No, BIPD calls them terrorist organizations, people in the old city area call them revolutionary armies, and they have always claimed to be charitable organizations that rob the rich to help the poor. Most of them are people who are oppressed by the upper class, and in recent years they have developed into a new government with thousands of people. Upon hearing this, Ling thought to himself that it was inevitable that he would have to deal with this rope organization for the next task. Oh, by the way, the cadres of the rope organization are all ruthless people. They all exist as enemies. Even our children regard them as idols. Are they so powerful? Are they all covered in combat spirit bodies? Hi. At first glance, you look like a bumpkin. Have you ever heard of Super Brain Awakening? I haven't heard of it. What is it? The Super Brain Reminder was proposed by a person named Mr. Morris here several decades ago. There are 4 levels of Super Brain Awakening, namely Organism Level, Super Body Level, Heretic Level, and Awakening Level. Each level is further divided into 3 sub-levels, and breaking through each level requires a very high cost. It is already rare for an ordinary person to reach super body level. And their cadres have all broken through super body level. What impact can this level have on combat? Kid, why are you living in Qinglu City like this? I said it's been over a week now, and you might be thrown into the sewer in 2 days. Ordinary people can install some normal prosthetic or mechanical organs, but if those combat organs are overloaded, it will cause rejection in the body. Therefore, most BIPD people only dare to install small handguns or communication devices, and they also regularly seek treatment from prosthetic doctors. These high-level people, even if their whole body is equipped with weapons, have no problems, and most importantly, they can break through level 6, which is the super body level, and access the cyberspace anytime and anywhere. It is said that they can also remotely control other people's chips, just like magic, with mind reading and mind killing skills. Of course, this is also a legend I have never encountered. Damn it. So powerful, isn't this group of people invincible in this city? That's not true, there are also ways to balance them. That's the special forces of BIPD. The Ink Shadow Special Forces. It's said that they only have 18 people, each of whom has broken through the super body level, and it seems like they need to be at level 7 to join. However, they don't move around casually, and ordinary people have never seen them before. They have only seen them on BIP's official website, and who knows if it's fake. Anyway, in recent years, the rope organization and BIPD have been relatively safe, only occasionally catching a few minions. After the driver's output, Ling fell into contemplation. It seems that this city is much deeper than he imagined. Although he also has a semantic body, it is limited to simple file transfer and communication. It seems difficult to make a difference in this city. Between thoughts, the vehicle came to a stop. Here you are, little bunny. Are you sure you want to get off the car? This place is not where you came from. Su Ling looked at the pink building ahead and said, "I'm not wrong, it's here." Chapter 2. Pink Candy House. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. How much is it? Qinghui 3600 yuan, what? You're really black. Su Ling knew that this train was going to be slaughtered, but when he heard this price, Su Ling was also stunned. This is not just the fare, but also the consultation fee. The driver blinked his eyes and said with a wicked smile. Su Ling looked at the only 50,000 yuan left on his body and sighed. He couldn't have imagined that the money he saved from living frugally would be so much less as soon as he left the house, but he didn't have time to argue with the driver. Buying intelligence for 3,600 yuan would be like this. After Su Ling was very unwilling to give money, the driver suddenly said, "Here's a piece of advice for you. After entering, don't pay attention or say hello to anyone you see or encounter anything. This sentence is for free, and we will see you endlessly." After that, the driver roared away, leaving Su Ling with a deep heartache. There is a shop at the intersection of the new and old urban areas, colorful and full of childlike fun. The main business of the store is candy cakes, and the name of the store is just 3 words. Candy House. Su Ling stopped and looked at this building that was out of place with the city for a while, thinking to himself, what kind of person would have such an aesthetic? He put his hands in his pockets and pushed open the door of the candy house with his one-shoulder backpack. This candy house is not a small shop. It is surprisingly large, about 300 to 400 square meters, with a total of 4 floors. It is said that it was originally transformed from a bar. When entering the door, the first thing that catches the eye is the sharp-eyed and fierce-looking people sitting on each pink sofa inside. In this child's paradise, I didn't see any of the children's figures, but instead they were all these fugitives, which can also be called mercenaries. Are you Su Ling? Mr. Governor is on the 2nd floor, come with me. A burly man wearing sunglasses walked up to the boy and looked at his thin and weak body, saying disdainfully. However, Su Ling did not answer the conversation. When he first came to this city, many things were still unclear, and he knew that too much talk would lead to failure. After all, he was a strong man with half his head higher than him. As the door to the 2nd floor office opened, there was already a person sitting inside waiting for a long time. I saw this person wearing a white suit and holding a whiskey glass very elegantly, saying, "Your brother used to be my VIP, so I welcome you to the 2nd floor of the candy house." This is a treatment that many people have not received in years of service to the candy house. Hello, Mr. Governor. Perhaps you misunderstood. I am not here to serve you, but to receive a message from my brother before his death, asking me to come to this city to find you. Perhaps you know what happened to him. A long time ago, there were many intermediaries here, and I was just one of them. If it weren't for your brother helping me complete difficult commissions time and time again, there wouldn't have been today's governor. I can help you and repay his kindness, but I don't know much about the specific reason for his accident, so you might need to investigate it yourself. Su Ling felt a sense of being deceived after listening to this. He took a high-speed train for 10 hours to come here. After listening to this bald man boasting for a while, he said, "I'm sorry, but Su Ling won't accept your idea of refueling." Just as he was about to erupt, the governor immediately added, "Although I don't know much, I know someone who can help you. May I hear its details?" Su Ling asked with both hands embracing each other. "There is a girl in the east of the city who is about the same age as you. She has encountered some problems during this period. If you can help her handle it, or if you are a good partner." Stop. We just got to know each other for less than 5 minutes, so you've already assigned me a task. If it's just for a few hops, I don't have to come to this chaotic city. When you step into this city, the chaos has become your life. Su Ling, the governor said with a smile as he looked at Su Ling's fearless expression as a newborn calf, as if he had seen his brother's expression when he first arrived. Actually, Su Ling knows very well that the water here is very deep. If he really wanted to find out something, he would definitely have to go through this muddy water, but he didn't expect someone to use him as a gunman so quickly. Chapter 3. Passionate Dongzhen. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Dongzhen is one of the earliest settlements in the old urban area of Qinglu City. After abandoning the development of the old city, the upper class left behind only abandoned small houses. This place is a paradise for homeless people, gangs, and fugitives. The gang led by the Flying Horse Gang controls the entire area, and Su Ling's first task at the candy house was to find a woman named Tang Xiao in this chaotic place. To be honest, he is very clear about his own weight. Apart from serving as a top soldier in the army for 2 years in his early years and having some basic combat skills, he has no practical experience. After all, his former city was a peaceful place without war. Next, facing these extremely vicious fugitives, Su Ling also felt a sense of fear in his heart. Remember, if you can talk, talk, if you can't talk, run away. Su Ling thought to herself, afraid that she might get into trouble with someone she shouldn't have. During his stroll in Dongzhen, Su Ling was able to see the real poor. These disabled people who didn't even have the money to install prosthetics filled the entire town, like a refugee camp. Their only purpose in life is to repay the endless debts they owe to the upper class every month. Hello, I want to inquire about something with you. Su Ling casually grabbed the passerby who was approaching and wanted to gather some information. The indifference of passersby left him without any gains for the entire afternoon. Hi, kid. No one in town will talk to you, go back and forth wherever you go. Just as Su Ling was distressed, an old man nearby said to him. The people here have always been so indifferent. Su Ling saw someone respond and immediately approached the master. The people here don't even care about themselves, there's no time to talk about love and romance with outsiders like you. Su Ling was not foolish when he heard this. He immediately took out 500 yuan and gave it to the old man, saying, chatting with me is not for nothing. 500 yuan is enough for you to eat for 2 days, isn't it? The old man looked at the money transmitted by Su Ling and clicked on the check and confirm button on the chip in his arm, saying, ask me, what's there that an old man like me can answer? I want to find a girl who is also an outsider. She has black hair, is 1.67 meters tall, and is around 278 years old. I don't know if you have seen her before. By the way, Su Ling took out a photo of Tang Xiao and handed it over. There are already few people who can come to our place, and if I have seen them, I will definitely not forget them, but unfortunately, I have not seen them. After hearing the old man's words, Su Ling instantly felt that he had spent another $500 in vain. He had spent all his money doing stupid things that day. However, if you're sure she's here, there are only 2 outcomes. What result? Either it fell into the sewer, or in the hands of the Flying Horse Gang. After all, outsiders who come to Dongzhen this year always have to bring some ransom. Before Su Ling could react, several people wearing looting leather jackets had already walked behind him. Damn it! Su Ling seemed to have guessed what person had appeared. The Flying Horse Gang. Welcome to Dongzhen, tourist. Do you need a guide? Upon seeing this, Su Ling instinctively wanted to escape, but just as he stood up, a strong palm held him down, and 3 or 5 people immediately surrounded him. With a sinister expression on his face, he said, don't rush to leave. Let's have a good chat. Su Ling looked helplessly at the sky and murmured to himself, damn Qinglu City. Then it turned dark before his eyes, and he was put on a burlap bag and taken away. Chapter 4. Rootless People. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. In a dark house, a group of people wearing willow clover leather clothes were sitting around. Each of them was dressed in exaggerated attire, and sometimes some even laughed wildly in the crowd. The Flying Horse Gang is a group of abandoned factory workers and motorcycle rioters who lived without a place to settle in their early years and made a living by plundering. It was not until the decline of Dongzhen that this unclaimed territory officially became their base. They are also the most typical criminals in Qinglu City. In the crowded room, besides a group of crazy people from the Flying Horse Gang, there was also a masked person pushed in. Throw him into the dog cage. As Su Ling spoke, he felt like he had been lifted high and fell heavily into an iron cage in a parabolic motion. After a moment, when the surrounding sounds were quiet, Su Ling rubbed his head against the floor and awkwardly broke off his headband. I saw him inside an iron cage in a damp room, which was airtight and smelled sour and moldy, like the smell of rotten garbage stored for 100 days. Su Ling looked at the surroundings and couldn't help but feel regretful. He arrived in this city for less than 24 hours and was locked up here before he had a good sleep and a decent dinner. It seems that the driver who initially received him said he was thrown into the sewer for 2 days and looked up to him. No, I can't just stay locked up like this. Su Ling, calm down, there will always be a way to leave. Su Ling silently recited in her heart, trying to calm herself down. Don't struggle anymore, let's think carefully about which family or friends would come over with money to redeem you. Just as Su Ling was thinking, there was actually someone locked in the corner of the cage that he had not even noticed. As Su Ling gradually adapted to the dark environment, he finally saw the speaker's appearance clearly. A woman, but from her situation, it seems that she has been locked up for much longer than Su Ling. Madam, could you please help me? Please help me untie the rope that tied my hand, thank you. Su Ling saw other people in the cage, and he immediately ignited hope. After all, having one more person means having one more helper, which is always good. Why should I help you? Let's take a break and pray for some strength to hold on until someone comes to save you. The woman looked at Su Ling's expression now and said angrily. But Su Ling didn't know that a few days ago, this woman was just like him, but every failure came with a beating, and human will was also worn away. Madam, please help me. Working together, maybe we can escape from here. Humph. Do you think we have wings, or can we swing our fists and knock down dozens of Flying Horse Gang outside? You should think about finding someone to send you a ransom. Although the Flying Horse Gang may be gone, they are also open-minded. Once the money is in place, they release them. After all, we are their source of business. Su Ling suddenly wilted as he listened to the woman's words. He said helplessly, "This is my first time in this city, so you say anyone can come and save me, unless BIPD opens their eyes and takes their nest. You are also brave enough to come all the way to one of the most chaotic places in Qinglu City alone. So you really don't know anyone in this city. Let me put it this way, you are the fourth person I know in this city, the other three are a driver, a middleman, and an old man who took me 500 yuan. Su Lingyue felt ridiculous and broke into Qinglu City alone without any backup plans to investigate his brother's situation. This kind of suicidal behavior seems to be inherited in their family. Intermediary. Amazing. As soon as I got to know an intermediary, if he knew about your situation, he promised not to give you any life. Do you think I'm willing to come here? I made a deal with him and he asked me to come to Dongzhen to find a girl. Su Ling paused and said, "Wait. Find a girl." He looked at the woman in front of him, who was also staring at him because of his words. Isn't it so coincidental? What's your name? Su Ling leaned closer and observed whether the woman was the same person in the photo, but the lighting issue and the mud on the woman's face were not very noticeable. Why don't you first tell me who you're looking for and who the middleman is, the woman said cautiously. Okay, anyway, being locked up here is the worst outcome. I'll tell you what, the woman I'm looking for is named Tang Xiao, and the client's name is the governor. Upon hearing this, the woman's eyes suddenly lit up and she said excitedly, the governor did not lie to me. Are you here to save me? Do you think I have the ability to save you now? Tang Xiao looked at the current situation of the two and felt speechless. If the governor really wanted to save her, he wouldn't send a rookie over. He probably came to monitor her. Anyway, we are also people on the same boat now. Although I don't know if the governor will really send someone to save you, I think we should try to escape whenever there is a chance. Su Ling continued to persuade Tang Xiao. After all, he knew clearly that no one could come to save him. Taking advantage of the governor's relationship, he must bind Tang Xiao together in order to have a chance to escape. Tang Xiao was also aware that if someone had saved her, she would have come long ago. Instead of sending a rookie over to accompany her after 4 days of confinement, Tang Xiao moved his body and leaned closer to Su Ling, saying, "Here, give me your hand." As Tang Xiao spoke, he helped Su Ling untie the rope, and then Su Ling immediately looked around trying to find something useful. After searching around, they realized that apart from the two of them, they couldn't reach any objects outside the cage. After some unsuccessful inquiries, Su Ling lay on the ground and Tang Xiao said to him, "Look, I said it's useless." Su Ling didn't pay attention to Tang Xiao. After calming down his good mood, he began to try to think calmly. What is known about their situation now is that, firstly, the Pegasus gang wants money and will not rashly harm them. Secondly, no one will redeem them now, and they cannot force themselves to break out. Thirdly, judging from Tang Xiao's situation where she didn't tie her hand rope, she should have tried to escape but failed. In summary, the Flying Horse gang only wants money, and they should have enough confidence in their defense not to be afraid of others running away. Moreover, not tying a hand rope further proves that they are a group of arrogant and careless people. After thinking about it, Su Ling had a plan in his heart. If he made the right bet this time, they could leave safely. If he made the wrong bet, it would be his last one-day trip to Qinglu City in his life, but no matter what, he will give it a try. Chapter 5. Flying Horse Thief. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hi. Is anyone there? I'm going to call you the boss. Su Ling shouted desperately in the iron cage deep inside the house. He didn't know how many people were outside the door, or if there were no people. But today, he must escape from this damn dog cage no matter what. What are you doing? Can't you just leave some strength? Tang Xiao looked at Su Ling, who suddenly shouted and said angrily. The only way we want to leave here now is by ourselves, but I need your cooperation later. Do you believe me? Su Ling turned around and looked at the confused Tang Xiao. Tang Xiao pondered for a moment and said, "We just got to know each other. I believe we can't do it, but if you have a plan to escape, I will cooperate. But if you play any tricks, I will immediately leave you behind. Even if I voluntarily return to this iron cage, I won't accompany you on any adventure." "Okay, I understand. You'll see what I do later. So you have to tell me the plan, right?" Tang Xiao finished speaking, and before Su Ling could reply, the room door suddenly opened. "What's the fuss? Our boss can be seen as soon as you want. Let me stay for a few days before finding someone to redeem you. It seems that the Flying Horse gang won't let you go immediately, but they want you to suffer a bit, so that we can negotiate better then. If you catch the wrong person and let your boss know that I'm here, you'll have no choice but to walk around." Su Ling tried to maintain a stable tone and said word by word. "Oh ho. You still know our boss, don't argue with me. I've seen many people like you, and they say they know some big shot. They keep us locked up for a few days and pay the money honestly. It seems that these crazy people from the Flying Horse gang still have brains. It seems that 1 or 2 sentences cannot deceive him." Su Ling thought to himself, that would require a powerful medicine. Sure enough, others told me that the Flying Horse gang's methods were not trustworthy before, but today I can see it. It's just a pity. What a pity. Shut your stinky mouth and don't make me slap your mouth. I mean, it's a pity that your old nest may be gone after tomorrow. You're threatening me, you see, I won't break your legs. The guard heard Su Ling sitting in the iron cage and boasting shamelessly, and immediately became furious. After saying that, he wanted to come in and vent his anger on him. "I said, big brother, you don't need to argue with me, a prisoner. Don't you think about it. Why do I come to Dongzhen and see your boss when I have nothing to do? Do you think I look like an upper-class person with nothing to do? The guard looked up and down at Su Ling and realized that the tattered coat was not really a high-end item. Looking at his calm expression, he asked with half a doubt, "Don't beat me up, Our boss is not someone you can see right away. If you have anything to say to me, I'll break your leg." It seemed that the communication was smoother than expected, so Su Ling took advantage of the situation and said, "As for me, I am from the rope organization. I came to see your boss this time to inform you of important matters and take this woman with me. She is from the night security company." Su Ling pointed to Tang Xiao sitting beside me. Tang Xiao looked at Su Ling incredulously, knowing that if the Flying Horse Gang knew that she was once a member of the company, they would have to tear her apart. But in this situation, Tang Xiao is not easy to get into a fit. He just stared at Su Ling fiercely. In the midst of words, even the guards of the Flying Horse Gang couldn't figure it out. He caught a person from a rope organization and also caught a person from a company. "Thank you for your cooperation, brothers. If I hadn't searched through Dongzhen, I wouldn't have been able to find this woman. Are you really a member of the rope organization? What are you saying you're looking for our boss for?" Su Ling gestured for the guard to get closer and whispered in his ear, "The night security company is also looking for this woman and is preparing to bring troops to sweep Dongzhen. I have been ordered by the organization to take her away, and you don't want to be in a dilemma because of a company dog, do you?" After listening to Su Ling's words, the guard was stunned for a moment. He probably racked his brains to sort out the relationships inside, and immediately ran out of the room. "What did you say to him?" After the guard left, Tang Xiao immediately leaned forward and asked. "It's nothing, I just told a part of the facts and a part of the story." Fortunately, Su Ling carefully read Tang Xiao's materials before receiving the task, and also thanked the driver who initially explained the situation of the city to him. He felt that the more than 3,000 yuan was really worth it. After a moment, the guard entered the room again and called for two people to open the iron cage together, then beckoned Su Ling and Tang Xiao to follow. Su Ling and Tang Xiao exchanged glances and then got up to follow. After passing through 2 or 3 aisles, the two were led between a large hall. I saw 20 or 30 members of the Flying Horse Gang inside, with a middle-aged man sitting in the middle, the leader of the Flying Horse Gang. "Ha. You said you're from the rope organization, she's from the company. Tell me, should I trust you?" Ha looked at the two of them and said in a low voice. "You can choose not to believe it, or wait until tonight or tomorrow when the people from night security come and confront them again. Kid, you're not afraid to come to my territory to find someone. Our Flying Horse Gang and your rope organization have always been like a well that never flows into a river. Why should I ask you to take people away? Big brother, think about it. If this woman were in the hands of our rope organization, the spearhead of the night security company wouldn't be aimed at you, and the night security company wouldn't dare to confront us. This is the best way for everyone. Otherwise, both the rope organization and the company would ask for people from you, so it's hard to say." "Haha. You're quite eloquent, kid. I almost believed you." Ha stood up and slowly walked up to Su Ling, staring at him. "This woman used to work for night security company, but now she's working for the candy house. Don't think I don't know. She came to ask me for debt." "Ah." Su Ling looked confused after hearing this. "What's the situation?" "It's not very similar to the development of the plot." He looked at Tang Xiao and whispered, "You came to Dongzhen because of this. Why didn't you tell me earlier?" Tang Xiao said innocently, "You didn't ask either. Don't chew your ears in front of me, to be honest, both of you were sent by the governor. Coincidentally, both of you packed together and I came to ask the governor for money." Ha. Ha seemed to see through Su Ling's little trick and burst out laughing wildly. Ha. It's ridiculous. It seems that the Flying Horse Gang is still so arrogant when it comes to a disaster. Su Ling's smile confused everyone on the field. Ma Maha looked at Su Ling with great interest and said, "Oh. This young man, is there anything else I missed?" "Big brother, think carefully. This woman ran to the candy house to seek help because she was a trader of the night security company. Is it reasonable for the security company to arrest her?" Without a word from Mamaha, Su Ling continued, "Our rope organization has always been at odds with the company. I came to arrest her to get her to reveal information about the security company. Is that the truth?" After a moment of silence, Mamaha first said, "Okay, if what you say is true, then I'll just kill you and throw you onto the road. This has nothing to do with our flying horse gang, right? Big brother. When are you still thinking about these bad things? We are both ordinary people." I was ordered to complete the task, and she also listened to the instructions of the candy house. If she can't complete the task, there will be others coming. Killing us is not worth it. What good would it be for me to let you go like this? Firstly, I have a way to make Candy House no longer trouble you. Secondly, you will have allies like the rope organization. Why not do it? Everyone can talk big, how can you make the candy house stop bothering me? If I tell the governor that this woman has already received the money and she happens to fall into the hands of our rope organization, do you think the governor wants money from you or me?" After speaking, the room was filled with voices, and for this group of crazy people who only know how to drive and hit people's heads with big sticks, they would never have thought of such a win-win solution. "You dare to say anything just to save your life? Can you help me bear my debts? Do you think I will believe it?" Ma Maha was almost convinced, but he still kept his last bit of clarity and said, "Don't worry, I won't do such a foolish thing. If we get what I want from this woman, she won't exist. As for whether your money is still in her hands, I won't know then." Ma Maha paced back and forth in the hall for a while, gesturing to his subordinates to untie Su Ling and saying, "She belongs to you now. I think you're a talented person, so I'll treat you as a friend. You go." "Okay, thank you, big brother. I hope to see you again next time." Su Ling dragged Tang Xiao, who was tied up, step by step out of the hall. While walking, Tang Xiao noticed that Su Ling's footsteps were getting heavier and he was almost falling into Tang Xiao's arms. Tang Xiao asked, "What's wrong with you? Can you walk well?" "Don't talk, keep walking, I'm just a little weak in the legs." Chapter 6. Reciprocity and Reciprocity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under the gaze of the Flying Horse Gang, Su Ling and Tang Xiao walked out of their territory step by step without looking back. Rather than escorting Tang Xiao, it was more like Tang Xiao supporting Su Ling. After just negotiating with Ma Maha, Su Ling felt no fear when the adrenaline surged for the first time. But as soon as he took the first step out of the room, his legs became weak. In order to prevent others from seeing anything unusual, he still worked hard to keep his body balanced. "Look at you, I really don't understand why the governor would send people like you to find me. The problem has been solved now, hasn't it? At least we managed to escape. But I admit that your brain is really good, and this situation can fool you away. I owe you this favor." Although Tang Xiao rose, his attitude also changed, and his voice became a little more cheerful. "That's right, I don't know, I still have this ability. I guess I don't want to end my trip to Qinglu City so soon." During their conversation, Tang Xiao and Su Ling had already stepped out of the sight of the Flying Horse Gang, and Su Ling collapsed on the roadside, unwilling to get up again. Two people were blowing the long-lost warm breeze on the roadside, speechless for a long time. After a while, Tang Xiao broke the silence and said, "Let's part ways here. I remember your kindness, but there is no rule of walking side by side in Qinglu City." After that, Tang Xiao waved his hand and turned to leave. "Wait. There are some things we need to talk about carefully. Did you forget that my mission this time was to find you?" After experiencing everything, Su Ling almost forgot his original mission. Fortunately, he stopped Tang Xiao in time. "You said, you were sent by the governor. I know, I can't run without completing the task. You go back and tell the governor, I will take care of it. It seems that Tang Xiao misunderstood Su Ling's purpose. He said with a wry smile, you misunderstood. I don't care about any governor, it's just that he told me that I came to find you because you have the information I want. I never thought so much would happen. Information. What information? So, what I want to do is not the same as what you do. Tang Xiao was confused by Su Ling again. She had always thought that Su Ling was supervising her, but it seems that she still thinks too much of herself. All right, let's find a place to rest and sit down. Let's talk slowly, just as you repay me for rescuing you. How about we clear up? Tang Xiao looked at the man in front of her who had experienced life and death. She knew this kind of affection or the minimum cost. After thinking for a moment, she said, come on, come with me. I know a place. Inside the Iron Box bar in the old city district, two young people covered in dust were wolfing down the food on the table. When they were full of wine and food, Su Ling said, this is my first meal in Qinglu City. It turns out these leftovers can also be so delicious. Just be content, many people in the old city area eat 3 meals of hunger, and these meals are already considered a feast, Tang Xiao said after swallowing the last piece of hamburger meat. Alright, let's talk about business. Su Ling wiped his mouth and said slowly. In fact, Tang Xiao was also very curious. A stranger who had come from afar bravely ventured into Longtan Tiger's den to find her, a person who was constantly in danger, to inquire about information. She also wanted to know what information made him so important. You tell me, I'm also curious about the reason why you had to come to me. Do you know Su Lai? Actually, I came here because of his situation. He is my brother who passed away in an accident in this city. I came here to investigate his situation, and the only thing I know is that he knows the governor, and the governor told me that you have an answer here. Su Ling solemnly told Tang Xiao the whole story, and at this moment, Tang Xiao was even more bewildered. Su Lai. Are you sure the governor told you to contact me to find out the reason? Although I'm sorry about your situation, I don't know anyone about Su Lai. Are you sure? So why did he ask me to come find you? Su Ling looked at Tang Xiao incredulously, and now all the clues were cut off. Isn't everything he did today meaningless? How about you tell me the details of the whole thing again, and I'll try my best to see what I know. Su Ling tried hard to recall all the details before his brother's murder, and tried to break everything down as seriously as possible. He said, before he was killed, we occasionally had communication. I remember the last communication was a week before he was killed. He told me that he was preparing for a big project, and if it succeeded, he could leave this haunted place with a large sum of money. The project he was talking about was not a dangerous thing, but rather the reconstruction of a municipal construction site. The next thing that came was BIPD notifying him of his murder. Although Su Ling and his brother had not seen each other for many years, when recalling it, he still vaguely remembered his older brother's support for him in front of everyone when he was a child. He once wanted to be someone like his brother the most. Thinking of this, Su Ling suddenly felt a wave of sadness. Municipal construction site. Do you know what project? I'm not quite sure, it sounds like a renovation project for an old residential area. I know the reason why the governor sent you to find me. Su Ling looked at Tang Xiao and hurriedly asked, what's the reason? Tell me quickly. There used to be a renovation project for an old residential area in the old city area, which was constantly disrupted by many refugees. Last month, the municipal government suddenly transferred the project to a company called Waltz Construction to complete. At that time, I was still a member of Night Security Company, and we sent people to maintain order every day. Later, it was rumored that a high-level figure inside had fallen from a building, probably your brother. After listening to Tang Xiao's words, Su Ling immediately knew that this was an important clue. He immediately asked, what happened later? BIPD told us it was a slip accident, but I know that my brother has a prosthetic body that strengthens bones. He fell from a normal height of 10 floors and eventually suffered minor injuries, but the report told me it was a 3-story small dilapidated house. Calm down, Su Ling. I think the governor's request for you to come to me is not just to understand the situation, because I am just a small employee inside and I have not witnessed the whole thing with my own eyes, unless. Unless for what? Do you have a trick? Unless we can hack into the security company's system and access first-hand information, we can understand the truth. And you happen to be from the former night security company, you know the way to get inside. Su Ling looked at the woman with short black hair in front of her, as if she knew the next plan in an instant. Wait. What are you thinking? I didn't promise to help you. Entering it is like trying to kill yourself, and I don't understand any hacking techniques. So now we need to find a good time to infiltrate the security company and find another hacker to help. Su Ling ignored Tang Xiao's opposition and started planning on his own. I won't do this, that's all I can do for you. Let's clear up. Tang Xiao was about to get up and leave, and Su Ling grabbed her hand and said, "The governor asked me to find you, but you can rest assured that I'm not a reckless person. Help me, please." Tang Xiao couldn't help but soften her heart as she looked at Su Ling with genuine eyes. She had been working hard from the old city area to the upper city area since childhood, and finally obtained the entry card for upper-class people. She was fired by the night security company, and she was also full of frustration. When she saw Su Ling in front of her, she suddenly had the idea of reporting to the night security company. Tang Xiao sighed and sat down again, saying, "I know a hacker, or maybe he can help us, but..." Watching Tang Xiao agree to his request, Su Ling suddenly became excited and replied, "But what? But I can't go find him yet because my own work hasn't been completed yet." "What do you mean?" "Yes, the mission assigned to me by the governor. Although we escaped, if we can't prove ourselves for a day, I will still be wanted by night security and BIPD. Only he can lower my bounty to level B." "Wait, Tang Xiao, shouldn't the task you mentioned be Pegasus help with that account? Tang Xiao looked at Su Ling with an incredulous expression, which was quite comical, but she still said, "Yes, this time the sweet words won't help me. If I have to complete the task, I will help you complete your task." In fact, they knew that from the first time they met, they had already been grasshoppers on the same rope. Su Ling said helplessly, "I hope we won't be thrown into the dog cage again this time." "What are you saying?" "I mean, we need to be fully prepared this time before we go to Dongzhen again. From now on, you have to listen to me for all actions. In this ruthless city, there are really two young people who come together for their respective goals. In a bar full of light and shadow, they relax and smile at each other." Chapter 7. Body and Brain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Have you woken up yet? One night later, Tang Xiao knocked on the door of the room in front of him, which was covered in stains. Su Ling, feeling drowsy, flipped up the bed, possibly due to poor quality alcohol from last night or the damp room. He still opened the door in a daze. Although the environment was harsh, Su Ling was able to sleep peacefully for a long time. He looked at Tang Xiao, who was already waiting at the door, and said, "So early, are you ready to go to the Flying Horse Gang to see him off? Do you want to stop sleeping and drinking before setting off?" Tang Xiao said unhappily, "For every extra minute I waste, my reward increases a bit. There are many people in this old city who can't eat enough and look at me like a moving money bag." Su Ling looked at Tang Xiao's expression and jokingly said, "Since it's so dangerous, don't stand outside the door to avoid being packed and taken away. Come in. Let's discuss it carefully." After finishing speaking, Tang Xiao walked straight into Su Ling's room. After the two of them sat in front of each other, Tang Xiao first said, "You said you have a way, come on, I'll listen." Su Ling rubbed his eyes to quickly maintain a clear state and said, "Okay, if we want to enter the Flying Horse Gang again, we can't be reckless this time. The best option is to find a way to avoid everyone infiltrating, and also find a chance to meet Mama Ha alone, and then let him confidently spit out the money. Tang Xiao shook his head as he listened to Su Ling's words and said, "If it were so easy, then I would have succeeded long ago." You have also seen the territory of the Flying Horse Gang. To enter Mama Ha's office, you need to face at least 30 people from the Flying Horse Gang, and even if you really get in, do you think Mama Ha will obediently pay? Neither of us are his opponents. Su Ling was well aware that his proposal earlier was impossible, but he had to gradually break down the plan to know the feasibility of all processes. After pondering for a moment, he said, "If you encounter people from the Flying Horse Gang, how many do you think you can defeat yourself? I am a third-level super brain awakened, normal and ordinary. Facing 3 or 4 people alone should be relatively easy for me. What if it's Mama Ha? What's his situation? It is said that he is a level 6 hyperbrain awakener, and his hands are modified jet hooks, which can drag a floating car driving forward to reverse at full force. Neither of us played a role in him. Understood, so no matter what, we have no chance of winning against him. So what if we make them internally chaotic or lose consciousness? What do you want to do? If we can implant a temporarily paralyzed virus into Mamaha's body in the midst of their internal chaos, then we can succeed without having to deal with him." Tang Xiao almost burst out laughing as she listened to Su Ling's so-called plan. She interrupted Su Ling's speech and said, "Is this the so-called plan? If such a difficult task could be successful, the Pegasus gang would have been terminated long ago, and we 2 minions would still be needed. After listening to me, although it doesn't feel reliable, as long as we are prepared, there is still a chance. You said you would listen to me for the rest, did you forget?" Tang Xiao looked at the man in front of her, his eyes flickering with firm confidence. Although they had not known each other for a long time, their escape from the last Pegasus helper proved that Su Ling had a useful brain. She spread out her hand and gestured for Su Ling to continue. "Besides kidnapping people from other places, what other main sources of livelihood do the Pegasus gang have? The Flying Horse Gang has their own private liquor brewery and a deep water bar, but those cannot be called good wines. In fact, they are all alcoholic beverages sold to the lower class, and in this field, they can be considered a monopoly of Dongzhen. So, in fact, their lifeline is the distillery, not just a few meaty tickets. Of course, how many people would run to Dongzhen these days? With these 3 melons and 2 dates, they would have starved to death long ago." After Tang Xiao finished speaking, Su Ling was speechless for a long time. His brain was running rapidly. After a while, he said to Tang Xiao, "If we can make their distillery have problems, do you think they will be able to fry? Do you want to have an idea of their distillery? The security there is even more severe than Mama Ha. I'm not really going back to touch this mold, but to make them think that the distillery will have problems, and what we need to do is face Mama Ha and make him lose his combat ability." What you're saying is really crazy, how can we do it? Tang Xiao listened to Su Ling's plan that couldn't be achieved. Although she didn't understand, since she chose to believe it, she tried her best to cooperate. "First of all, with your ability, you can easily subdue the minions of the Flying Horse Gang. Then we need to fight back and do what they are best at. Kidnapping. Bind people. Bind who? It doesn't matter who we tie up. First, we need to find a hidden place and randomly tie up a few people from the Flying Horse Gang near the distillery every day. They may not notice for the first 2 days, but over time, they will have to find someone." Su Ling stood up and continued to pace in the room, saying, "At this point, all we need to do is release 1 or 2 people and let them pass the message. Other gangs are preparing to attack the distillery, so they will definitely strengthen their defense. This will last for a few days and put them in a tense state. In the next few days, I will use the opportunity to persuade the kidnapped members of the Pegasus gang, saying that Mama Ha is planning to give up the Pegasus gang and make some powerful friends. One after another, their morale will be chaotic, and we can win in the chaos. Listen, this plan is good. How could the Flying Horse Gang persuade us so easily? Also, are you really sure we can control so many prisoners? You don't have to worry about this. You are responsible for binding people, I am responsible for persuading, and also, you need to get a chip that can temporarily disable Mamaha's combat ability. Is this difficult? This is okay, even chips that briefly lose combat ability in a minute or two can be found in the black market, but the price is not as expensive as usual. Do you have money? Su Ling looked helplessly at Tang Xiao, who had already been stripped clean when he was imprisoned. Tang Xiao said helplessly, the last money has already been given to yesterday's meal and the small room you stayed in. Can we make payment afterwards? Sure, 10% daily interest. Su Ling gritted his teeth and said, bye. We'll be busy next. Chapter 8. Binding back to binding. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. In the dilapidated factory building, a woman is forcefully dragging a person bound in various ways. The woman's skillful technique proves that she has been doing such things a lot during this period of time. After pushing the man heavily into the cellar, she gasped and said, this is the 10th one. If this continues, I will become a professional bandit. Thank you for your hard work, it seems that you have already mastered it, right? Su Ling said jokingly as Tang Xiao, who was sweating profusely, handed over a bottle of water. You're really idle. For the past 3 days, I've been sneaking to Dongzhen every night to kidnap people. I've been squatting in the middle of the night just to catch them. I really regret listening to you before. We agreed. You arrest people, I'll take care of them. Tang Xiao looked at Su Ling, who had no proper expression on his face, and gave him a pale glance before saying helplessly, may I ask Commander, how many more dog legs should I catch? Su Ling looked at the 10 members of the Flying Horse Gang who were bound and wriggling on the ground under the cellar and said, there are about 300 members of the Flying Horse Gang, and we need to catch at least 20 more. They may only realize that things are not going right when we gather 30. 20 more, what have I done here? Follow you here and make trouble. Although Tang Xiao spoke reluctantly and didn't know if the final plan was successful, she knew that Su Ling was helping her, so after the rest meeting, she still dragged her tired body deep into Dongzhen again. After Tang Xiao left, Su Ling looked at the cellar and thought for a moment before he walked in. I know you should be very puzzled now, don't worry, I won't hurt you, after all, we may be friends in the future, said the Flying Horse Gang, who were stuffed with tattered cloth. After speaking, Su Ling untied the mouth of a Flying Horse Gang. As soon as he untied the Flying Horse Gang, he cursed loudly, you're dead. There's a way you can let me go and see if I don't take your head off. Before the Flying Horse Gang could continue to output, Su Ling stuffed his mouth back in. Then he said to himself, listen, I tied you up to save you. The good days of your Flying Horse Gang are coming to an end, but someone has set their sights on your financial path. After finishing speaking, Su Ling didn't turn back and closed the door of the cellar. Inside, it was pitch black, and the only sound was the damp and leaking ticking sound. Su Ling knew that he wouldn't let go of talking to them now, so he just left a sentence and prepared to let them go for a while. After all, only in a dark environment can one's willpower be weak. On the side of the Flying Horse Gang, several gang members are reporting to Mamaha about the disappearance of several brothers in the past few days. Mamaha said casually, God knows where the hell they went to hang out with. You can send a few more people to search around the outskirts of Dongzhen. If you can't find them yet, send more people to find them. For the disappearance of his brothers, Mahaha did not pay much attention, after all, they were not like the army, with daily counting and discipline. There were always a few people who disappeared due to fire or drunkenness every 3 to 5 days. Although he lost 10 people in 3 days this time, he believed that everything was still controllable. On the other hand, Tang Xiao, who was hiding in the corner of Dongzhen, had been waiting for darkness to find the lone member. She also knew that as the number of people decreased, their vigilance would increase, so she dared not slack off for a moment. As night fell, except for a few lights and occasional barking of dogs, the people on the streets of the entire Dongzhen gradually decreased. Tang Xiao put on the clothes she had peeled off from the flying horse gang and walked cautiously in the alley. Just after walking for a while, Tang Xiao met a drunken member of the Pegasus gang leaning against the wall at the corner of the alley, ready to take action. Although this member appears to be 2 heads taller than Tang Xiao still believes that she can control him when he is drunk. After careful observation, Tang Xiao confirmed that there was no one else beside her. She tiptoed over to the back of the flying horse gang, and then a triangular lock on her throat caused the big man to stumble heavily. But Tang Xiao underestimated his opponent a bit this time. After the strong man regained his composure, he grabbed Tang Xiao, who was not yet securely locked, and threw him out. Tang Xiao hit the wall heavily, indicating that there was a tough battle ahead. The big man didn't shout loudly, probably thinking of defeating the skinny girl in front of him alone. The big man couldn't help but break up. With a heavy punch, Tang Xiao deftly dodged and kept attacking the big man's waist. But after 3 punches, the strong man didn't react at all. He looked at Tang Xiao's pear blossom like drizzle of punches and smiled, saying, "Little girl, give up resisting and stay with me for a night, or maybe I'll let you go in large numbers." Ha ha ha. Tang Xiao quickly took a few steps back and said, "I don't like a dog with rotten teeth." As she spoke, Tang Xiao quickly observed the surrounding environment. It was a small alley, and hand-to-hand combat had no advantage for her. Only the scattered wires on the roof of the house, if she could use them as ropes, would probably be able to bind him. Without further ado, Tang Xiao deftly dodged 2 attacks before circling behind the strong man, leaping up to grab the wire, and then wrapping it around his neck. The strong man reacted and grabbed Tang Xiao with 2 heavy punches on her back. However, Tang Xiao did not let go of the attack. She grabbed the wire tightly until it was tied into a knot and tightly wrapped around the strong man's neck, and then retreated. Using the electric pole that fixed one end of the wire, Tang Xiao pulled hard and the strong man was half suspended in the air. Even though the strong man resisted, the wire became tighter and tighter. In no time, the strong man collapsed weakly due to the binding of the wires. Tang Xiao endured the pain and struggled to stand up, doing his best to drag the strong man step by step onto the prepared truck. Chapter 9. Convincing People with Virtue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the cellar, 30 members of the Flying Horse Gang were packed tightly, each with their feet pressed against their heads. There's no way, even if there are 2 more people, this place probably won't fit. The members of the Pegasus Gang who have been locked up here for the longest time have been for a week. What's even more despicable is that the door of the cellar is still electrified, and the pitiful Pegasus Gang are dizzy and disoriented every time they try to escape. Faced with this scene, even Su Ling couldn't bear to design the arrest of the Flying Horse Gang. "I said, if you keep locking them up like this, you'll have to take human lives." And now the Flying Horse Gang is already frantically searching for them like a frying pan. Tang Xiao covered his nose and looked at this dungeon-like pit, saying, "Yes, we need to do it as soon as possible. We need to find a larger and more ventilated place next time." Su Ling also looked at these poor people with a helpless expression. "Next time, don't think about it. I've been injured more in just these few days than I've been at night security for the past few years combined. Alright, I'm just saying it. You've been working hard these past few days. You can wait for me to bring someone up here later, and you're responsible for throwing him to the entrance of Dongzhen. It's my turn to go on stage now." Su Ling put on the filter mask and slowly walked on. After these days of baptism, these Flying Horse Gang have finally become quite honest, and as more and more people come in, the unknown Flying Horse Gang really thinks that their gang is going to be destroyed. Su Ling walked from among the crowd to the person who was first brought in, and without saying a word, he led the person to another room in the cellar. However, after a while, there was a clanging sound of tapping in the room, 1 or 2 times. The person who smashed the flying horse gang felt scared when they heard it. After a moment, Su Ling walked out of the room covered in blood. Without saying a word, he grabbed another member of the flying horse gang and went in as the third person entered. Almost every inch of Su Ling's skin was stained with blood at this moment. The members of the flying horse gang were frightened by this scene, their faces turning pale. Although the flying horse gang were all some thugs and also engaged in activities of binding people. But they are usually for money, and unless absolutely necessary, they will not take human lives. Where have they ever seen people like Su Ling? Rather than being human, they feel like a demon covered in blood. In fact, they didn't know that this was all a play played by Su Ling, because these people were isolated from the outside world and used fear to break through their psychological defenses in order to better advance the plan. And those people who were pulled into the room by him were all hidden after he fainted with an electric shock. And the blood on his body is actually a simulation prop. After the disappearance of 3 people, the flying horse gang outside had become extremely fearful, afraid that the next one would be himself. And when Su Ling saw this situation, he knew that his plan could start. After the 4th person was caught in the room by Su Ling said, "They are really tough guys. It's really hard to chop them down. Big brother, please let me go. I'm just a small servant, don't worry. I won't tell anyone else after I go out." The flying horse gang kowtowed to Su Ling, looking at him with a twisted expression. Su Ling followed suit and said, "Actually, I don't want to do this either, but when I asked them to do me a small favor, they refused. I have no choice. Do you want to be like them or make friends with me? Big brother, what do you need me to do? Just say, as long as you let me go, I can help you bring the flying horse gang." Su Ling looked at the already disorganized Pegasus gang in front of him and couldn't help but laugh. Then he said, "Great, since you have shown loyalty, I will let you go. You can go back and help me with a message, saying that our Fenghua group is ready to take over Dongzhen. And remember, when I need your help next time, you have to stand up, after all, you have seen my methods." Su Ling threatened. Subsequently, Su Ling covered the flying horse gang with a headband in front of everyone and sent it out of the cellar. The Pegasus gang, who saw this situation, kept begging Su Ling to let them have a way out. But Su Ling didn't care how those people begged him to close the door of the cellar again. After Tang Xiao kicked the members of the flying horse gang out of the car, this little guy was breathing in fresh air while crying loudly. Soon, he attracted other members of the flying horse gang to come over. "You told me, did the Wind and Fire group kidnap you? There are many more people." Mama Ha, listening to the little servant's words, looked out the window with an incredulous expression on his face. "You know, the Wind and Fire group is just a small gang split from the Mountain and Forest group. Apart from its leader, Masayoshi Honda, he has never heard of such a cruel and ruthless character inside. Where is the place where you are detained? How many people are there?" After the disappearance of people in the past few days and this incident, Maha has increasingly felt that the situation is serious. After all, such large-scale arrests between gangs have rarely occurred for a long time. And this is a humiliation to his flying horse gang, which Mamaha cannot accept. "I don't know. I feel like there are at least a few hundred of them, and we are all locked in a secret room, wearing headgear when we come out. Boss, you want to avenge us?" The little servant cried while pulling at the hem of Mamaha's pants. "Take him out of here. The Wind and Fire team, right? I'll have something to endure next." Mamaha stared fiercely at the direction of the distillery and couldn't help but clench his fist. It seems that the war between the two gangs is about to break out soon.